Hello everyone, welcome to another Green Dragons Gaming Club. Without us, they never feel like winners. Without them, we couldn't look so good. So anyway, we're based out of Westchester, Pennsylvania. And if you're in the Jersey around Deptford, Westchester, Pennsylvania, so just outside Philadelphia, uh, out to say Lancaster, Northeast Maryland, or North Delaware, so that's Wilmington, Newark area. Reach out to us. We're a fun, good-going group. We've played in stores, and right now we're playing people's basements, and we play a variety of games. I just focus more on the Ninth Age, and I'll do those battle reports for that. Occasionally, you may actually see like a War Machine soon, but it's regardless. It's like we're always looking for good, like-minded players. We're just out to have a good time. So today we have a special event. So Monday nights is when we usually get our game in, based off of my work schedule. And not everyone, we had a couple cancellations actually we did this on a Sunday, but we had a couple cancellations. So instead of doing a normal 2,500 point game, we did a 5,000 point game. So we have Dwarven Holds of 5,000 points versus the Empire&Ogres and OgreCon. So again, that was Mark versus Dan and Brett. So those two equaled 5,000 points, and I had 5,000 points of dwarves. I only cleared off maybe half of my table. I have too many dwarves. It's sad. It's disturbing. So, but this was such a fun game. I cannot say enough about my competitors. So so Dan has so far been flip-flopping. He's about ready. We're starting a campaign too, so you're going to see some really off-colored battle reports coming up. But we're starting a map-based campaign, and so far he's putting together his Aquitaine list. He's been playing his rats, vermin swarms. He's been doing his Empire Sonnstall. I'm waiting for the fourth army to come out of the woodwork at this point in time. And you know it's great. It's just just such a fun player to play against. Now Brett I've known for years. I've known both these gentlemen for years. Just reconnected with Dan. Brett I've been playing against with years, and he just picked up this ogre army. I literally he comes over with this army. I'm like, what the heck is that? He's like, I picked it up for $130, and apparently Mantic. And I have some Mantic models. They're good. They're decent models. He got an entire ogre army that he was able to put together and field for about $130. That's a steal. So again, if you're looking for new models, looking to start a new army, the quality and details is decent. And I mean, I have a unit of paladins I'll be using as in my Aquitaine list, but you know it's $130 for an entire ogre army, unreal. So magic spells, I don't know what Dan rolled for his magic. So here his ogre shaman has Teeth Cracker and Entrails of Gorger. You can read the cards there. And I don't have everyone's army lists because it wasn't sent to me. Now Dan, who is at Dan on the Ninth Age website, Sir MC 2015, and it's capital S, capital MC, and Brett is Swelter. I honestly don't know why. He's always had that name, but he's Swelter on the Ninth Age website. So. And that's it. So I'll go through the army list as best as I can, going with my own army, the dwarves, down below. The Hydra is being played as a Grudge Buster today. You've got a unit of 10 crossbowmen with champion. You've got 25 spear dwarves. They have a clan leader in that unit. I have a bomber. I have 20. Yeah, those are deep watch there. I have 20 deep watch. I have my organ gun. I have a cannon. I have 15 guild crafted handgunners. I have 20 hammers or Kingsguard now. I have 20 vanguarding warriors with great weapons. I have a unit of 20 graybeards that has what does that unit have in it? No, my units the big blocks all have full commands. Has a runesmith in it. I've got the dwarves on Bez are Hole Guardians. I've got my flame cannon all the way over there, and I've got a 10-man unit of Forge Wardens. I honestly don't feel you need anything more than 10-man unit of Forge Wardens. And then, unfortunately, another unit that's not there or not visible is I do have a 15-man unit of Seekers. They're not Slayers anymore. They're called Seekers. So, going on my opponent's side, the Goblins on Wolves. Those are the his fast cavalry, the Outriders. Then he's got the Reiksguard cavalry that have 2 attacks each and stubborn with character in there. He's got a unit of militia with pistols, a unit of Imperial Guard. He's got that. I hate that thing. It's I don't know what it's called, but it gives that 6-inch bubble. That's -1 to hit. Grants distracting. He's got 40 halberdiers. He's got a Hellblaster volley gun. He's got another unit of militia with pistols. He's got 20 seasoned crossbowmen. He's got his cannon there in that piece of terrain. He's got 2 units of 15, whatever the hell they are, the flagellants. And Brett has a unit of Yetis that he vanguarded up onto the hill. And then he's got 2 units of the Cannoneers. He's got a far unit in the field over there of Mark Vets. He's got a huge block of tribesmen with his Great Khan in there. And he's got another unit, and he's also got his BSB, so his Khan as well. Those of you who watch these things and you follow Lord Tremendous, I'm not going to copy him on this, but every time I say that, now I've got Star Trek 2 going, Khan! And it's hysterical. So if Lord Tremendous does watch this, I say thank you for because always make me laugh whenever I play ogres for that reason. And then he's got another unit of 5 tribesmen with his great shaman in there, or shaman in there, Pacha Butchery. And that's it. And I've got runesmiths. I have 2 engineers, which I think I always kept forgetting to use. It's Dwarves has so many different special rules. I do have to get better, which is why I will not change my army again. And I have 5, soon to be 6 armies until this one is fully painted and I have all the rules down. And then they're just going to change me again in November. So, Dwarves get turn 1. So the way we did this is to speed things up because the game is so huge. Is we did a hidden deployment. So we just set up dividers going across the table, and then we took it all down and did a basic roll off. Whoever won the roll got first turn. The opponent got to do vanguards first. So he moved his Yetis up on the hill. I moved up my my warriors that had vanguard, and that's all that I have. And there's those warriors. Now inside, or there's my down the bottom, my Seekers. Inside the Seekers, you'll see a little red-headed stepchild who was on top of that dice before. I used to call him Captain One-Eye. He is now going to be known as Chucky. And you will see why he is now called Chucky as the game progresses. So I move up. I actually don't sit back. I just don't have a picture at the end of my movement because it was late. We're trying to speed things along. So my whatever the heck they are, the Seekers move all the way up. The handgunners there in the woods. I'm sorry, they're handgunners. Stay right where they are. The flame cannon stays where it is. I inch up the graybeards and the whatever the heck they are, the golems. I'm just going to call them golems. Hole Guardians. And That's it. And on the other side, the Grudge Buster moves up, and so the Deep Watch and everything else. I move my 2 bricks over there into the woods. I move my King's Guard up next to my warriors at the base of the hill, but they don't top the hill because I don't want them to be fully seen yet. Because there is that Hellblaster, and that it works just like my organ gun, and my organ gun is vicious. So up there on top of the hill, both Yetis turn around and die in a blaze of glory. So if you look at that picture, you see 2 models there in the middle. That picture, they are gone, and that's from dwarf shooting. Over here, my organ gun kills 9 of his seasoned crossbowmen, and that was it. That's all that I did during my turn. So now, turn 1 to the Empire&Ogres. So here's, as I said, I moved a bunch of my stuff up. He turned around and he flanks me with the Grudge Buster there. And the Ogre Cons really don't move up. The reason why they don't move up is Brett is measuring the threat range of that cannon, of the flame cannon. Because it does D3 wounds when it wounds, it's strength 5, so it's pretty much going to negate his armor. It's nasty. It's nasty in general. I mean, it truly is, but it's got such a limited range. And there are ways to deal with artillery. And you'll see them played out throughout this game. But the question is does he have the tools to deal with that? He actually does. Because one thing I forgot to mention, he has a Mammoth Hunter that has Fireborn. So it's got a 2-up ward save against flaming attacks. Hey, it's a 17% chance to roll a 1. And let's see here. Anything else happened of interest? Nope, just kind of. And Dan stayed back again because of the organ gun, and he didn't have a real reason to go up, to march on up. So over here, he turns around, he gets a pop shot onto my organ gun, kills one of my guys. He kills 2 of my Greybeards, and he puts 1 wound on my Grudge Buster. So that's it for shooting. So now it's Dwarf's turn 2. Over here I get the -1 to hit for Gleaming because I have a Runesmith in the upper left, and that's my BSB on the upper right. And over here, same thing, -1 to hit. And my crossbowman, so now we're already into shooting. So again, I didn't do a lot of moving that phase because he was doing a job chapping me up. I took Chucky out and basically was trying to keep my opponent from charging my flame cannon. So he turns around and I killed 2 of his fast cav, and the reason I was able to do that is now with their crossbows are no longer move or shoot. They have unwieldy, so it's an additional -1. I'm so happy that 9th Age changed that rule because I never understood why you could not. If you've ever used a crossbow, you can walk and use a crossbow. That's not an issue. Being able to aim one well, it's questionable whether or not that's an issue or not for those of us who have actually fired firearms. But be that as it may, additional -1, much happier. I was able to kill 2, and because of that, they broke and fled right off the board. So good job, unpainted crossbowman. Still may not get painted. Over here, I put 1 wound. I expected that dog to die in a blaze of glory, or the pig, and I only put 1 wound. Sorry for the blurry picture. And that thing misfired. So I did 1 wound to myself. So next pick, I turn around and organ gun opened up, killed another 4 or 7 of them, and they turn around and they made their panic test on like a 4. So I think they failed the first time. They had to reroll because BSB was in 12. And so they stuck, which is unfortunate, but that's the way the game is played. And during my movement phase, I wanted to see how a Grudge Buster performed. So I charged him with the Grudge Buster into his Knights. The Knights have a 1-up armor save. It's got his General in there. I did not know what his General was kitted out with. And I did 3 wounds to those Knights. My Equitane Knights, my Bretonians that I love so dearly, they don't do that. So he got unlucky, I got lucky. He did 2 more wounds with his Martial, because his Martial has, if I hit you, I wound you, no armor saves. Magic weapon, it's a high cost magic weapon. Ouch. But, you know, so be it. It's, you know, it's... Honestly, I know he says a lot of people don't do that because then you can't keep your Martial kitted out. I'm like, honestly, if I would take that every time, load up that 1-up armor save, and then maybe give him like the item that gives you haste or anything else. I mean, I don't know how much that is, but haste is only 5 points, so it's all of a sudden it's like, hey, look, challenge. All I need to do is hit you. I have Lore of Heaven, so I'm going to be re-rolling no matter what. If I get at least 1 spell off, I'm going to be probably doing 2 to 3 wounds to you. That's game for my book. I have no issues with that. So now it's going to be the Empire and Ogre Khan's turn 2. So he charges up with he charges me there with his 1 unit. Actually, he tries charging with both units of his what are they? The Flagellants there into my Dwarf Warriors, and I choose to flee as a charge reaction. And I remember my opponent looking at me, being Dan, going, "Why? Why are you choosing to flee? I mean, they're going to die regardless, but why are you choosing to flee?" So I did have a goal in mind. I did have a plan. Whether or not it was the right plan or not, I still don't know. It's something I will think back on. Like, could have gone either way. So I turn around. I choose to flee. I barely ran. They're dwarves. They've got stumpy legs. You know, they're natural sprinters, but that wasn't sprinting. They get caught easily by the first unit. The second unit could not see my unit, my Kingsguard. So I now had a flank. So let's see. He moves up. The Ogres over there. Again, the Empire is in the Reichsguard are in the blood match with the Grudge Buster, which at this point in time is impressing me, because if it wasn't for his general hitting wounding, that thing would still be alive. And it is impressing me. It will probably have to work its way into my army. The problem is right now I like the way my army plays. But for those of you who play dwarves, that is a really good unit to have. Let's see. Just try to maneuver around a bit, and that's it. So he finally turns around and kills my organ gun. We misplayed this. So he moves over and launches a spear at my flame cannon. He hits the flame cannon, wounds it, and he's like, "Oh, it does 2 wounds." I'm like, "Okay, it's dead." And no, it only does 2 wounds to monstrous critters. It doesn't do 2 wounds to infantry. So we misplayed that, but you know, lost my flame cannon because I didn't know the rules. Close combat. He turns around and kills my Grudge Buster. So now it's Dwarf's turn 3. So we actually are moving this game along at a good clip. So over here, my Greybeards charge one of the pigs because the pigs were getting in my way. My Whole Guardians charge the other pig because, again, the pig is getting in my way. My shooting, I do 1 more wound to the Reichsguard, killing 1. And that's it, of course. I kill the pig. So I reform the Greybeards. Or do I try? I think I try to overrun. I think I try to overrun and I make it. And my king did charge into the Flagellants, and I killed a bunch of Flagellants, but then he reforms. And there's my king with Dominic the donkey. Hee-haw, hee-haw. Those of you who look up that, it's an Italian Christmas song because the reindeer can't make it up the mountains. It's like from 1940s, and first time I heard it, I started cracking up. So again, I did charge into the Flagellants that were there on the hill because I had that flank. I thought I could turn around and mutilate that unit, and I failed to do so. But most of it is gone. So now it's going to be the Empire turn 3 and Ogre Khans. So let's see. So I reformed my. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I did overrun. I hit his big block of mercenary vets with the Greybeards, and I hit and he countercharged me in the flank with his cannoneers, and I had repositioned my whole guardians to square off regarding either the cannoneers or the flagellants. Brett, during his movement phase, is playing the ogres, repositioned his mammoth hunter, and he put his huge block of ogre trisons up on the hill. So again, my Kingsguard should be right there with the king, and off just past it. You really can't, because of the picture, you can't see it, but there's a unit of 6 ogres right next to the big unit with his king and everything else. And then you got Dan all the way on the other side. He moves up his militia, and that's basically how the board. That is how the board looks at this point in time. And his cannon, by the way, is what took out my organ gun. Just completely obliterated it. That's all she wrote. So over here for this combat, I had off the -1 to hit. And what was there in front of me? I'm trying to figure out why this next picture is coming up. I don't know. I really don't know. Oh, I guess he shot a couple guys. Over here, he shot another couple guys. Over here, he shot my cannon, I believe with his cannon, killing 2 of my guys. So his cannon is just wreaking havoc on me. It really is. Dan's rolling well with that cannon. So my cannon's hanging on there with just one trooper left. And let's see. Kills another guy. Kills another 3 guys. This is all from shooting. Over here, the Greybeards break. And he pursues with the... and I lost easily half that unit. So I only did 2 units to the cannoneers, and I don't think I did anything to the mercenary vets. So he tried to run them down. My Greybeards get away, and that's that. So my king kills the flagellants. So here's the thing: is they're expecting me to sit square against the big unit up there, and instead I give him my flank with the king. And Dan and Brett are going, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, "I have a plan." He goes, "All right, what the hell are you doing?" I have a plan. So, and that plan you will see in just a moment. So now it's dwarves turn 4, my stumpy dwarves. So over here, I charge in with the militia. I charge the militia, and then with both my units, I think one of the units of militia I think they both took it. I charged in with my whole guardians into the side of the cannoneers. I charged into the mercenary vets with Chucky and the unit of slayers. Now, first off, those of you who listen to my reports know that I usually do not use slayers. I am not a fan, or if I do use slayers, I'm taking them in a smaller unit so that they're going to die. I don't like unbreakable units. I think I'd be much happier if they were stubborn, so that they're most likely going to stay, but there's still that potential chance that they can run away. Unbreakable's it's just huge. I mean, other than undead, in which case I think that's all my opinions. That's a tangent. Getting back to the battle report. So there's Chucky and the Slayers into his mercenary vets, and the Warriors turn around. The Warriors actually charged into on the very far side, charging the Reichsguard. So there's a picture of that charge. I did that because I have spears. So again, I have lethal strike against cavalry. Over here, Deep Watch get into the militia. The king. There's a reason why the king is sitting there in the middle of nowhere. Let me go back a couple picks. So here, now you can see that smaller unit. And I gave my flank so I could see that small unit that was right there. I'd much rather go against a small unit of ogres than a huge unit of ogres. So I charged that small unit. He chooses to flee as a charge reaction. Smart move on his part. But I was fairly close, and I have Swift Stride. So with where he ends up, all I need is a 7, and I still have a 90-degree wheel somewhere in that range. So, and I have Swift Stride, so I'm like, I need a 7 on 3 dice. There's my opponent, Dan, going, Mark, that's really chancy. What if you fail? Like, then you have a flank. But I need a 7 on 3 dice. I've failed that before, by the way. But that's it. All I need is a 7 on 3 dice. Law averages. I'm going to roll it again right now. Well, heck, right now I just rolled 3 dice and I failed. I rolled 3, 3, and a 1. So again, it can fail. It's just you typically don't. And there's a 5, 3, 2. So you typically don't. And in which case that unit there is stubborn because it's the Kingsguard. And even though yes, his unit could go against my unit, he's only going to get those 2 ranks where his characters have to go against my king. And the way my king is kitted out, he's got resistance on him. He's meant to be able to hold his own. I can issue a challenge, and so I can take either his unit champion, which is, if Dan does that, not only would I take his unit champion out of the combat, I would also take his 2 characters out of the combat, because they don't have Whirlwind. Only the unit has Whirlwind. So that was my game plan. And then turn around, do a reform, and do that. So let me go back to where we were. So they fled. I actually reach him, catch him, leadership test, reform, and now I'm facing the flank of the crossbowman. So he goes, "You got lucky." Yes, I did. Over here, there's that close combat. The dwarves on bears eat them. Dwarves on bears, by the way, I got from Reaper Minis. I love those models, but I absolutely ate all of them. And I'm going to overrun into the, whatever those things are, the flagellants. And over here, this is where, he's been called Chucky before, but I was trying to, change it to Captain One Eye, but he became Chucky once again. So he's touching 2 guys. So he has a magical paired weapon, because he's a Slayer. So right there he's base 5 attacks, so that makes him 6 attacks in close combat. He has Rune of Might. He has Grim Resolve, so for every model he's in contact with, he gains an extra additional attack, so that's now 8 attacks. He has Precision, so it's +1 to hit. And he has, of course, the Thunderous Charge, so he goes from Strength 5, Strength 6, Strength 7. He's got one other rune on there. It's Rune of Precision. I can't remember the other rune that I put on there. But he also has Monster Hunter. So that means that for every wound he does to Monstrous Infantry, he's doing 2 wounds. That is just... he's got Rune of Haste. Rune of Haste on there. So he's Initiative 8. He is just evil, violent, but he's got no defense. He's a glass cannon. He truly is that glass cannon. He hits like a ton of bricks, but it's easy to kill him. It really is. You can poison him to death. He's got a 6-up ward save to save his rear end. That's it. You hit him with a cannon. You shoot him to death. It's easier to kill him than it is to kill one of my war machines. So I don't have an issue. So as long as you have a model there at the end of the day, yeah, you have a decent chance to kill him or do wounds to him. So, over here, I don't know why I have that picture there. So, I think I killed some of... No, honestly, I don't know. So I turn around, I mop the floor with his militia. His militia turn around, it's down to 3 guys. They break and run. Now, I do not pursue. I just do a combat reform or combat pivot. Over there, as I said, I eat the cannoneers and go right into the flagellants with the bears. And I lost five or six of my Slayers, and you can see those are 3 wounds each. And the way he has them kitted out is actually the same way Lord Tremendous does. They're kitted out for close combat, so they've got Iron Fist and everything else. So I'm hitting on force, but that was a unit that I had hatred against, and he lost. Let's see, there are 3 wounds each. That there is 12, 13 wounds. I won't lie, most of that was done by Chucky, but that's 13 wounds against his ogre vets, it's mercenary vets. And over here, I got him down to 3 of his knight unit, but that's it. So now it's the Empire's turn. It's time for them to get some revenge. So I get charged in the flank with his Imperial Guard. I get charged in the front by his Halberdiers that actually has a Inquisition model in there. And that's it. Otherwise, at this point, we're running out of units. I think I had a missed pick back there. I'm like, I don't know why I have this pick there. I killed his cannon with my cannon. That was what happened. Because it was a picture of just his Halberdiers. So finally my cannon started doing something. Hasn't hit anything all game, but it's the first time for everything. So that's how that looks. That's how that looks. And he turns around and he keeps running through my unit. And he loses a guy, but I think he shoots me. I lose a King's Guard as well. And okay, trying to remember what we were measuring for. I have no idea. So he turns around and I obliterate more of the flagellants, but he does a couple wounds to me in return. Over here, he wins that combat. There's no question about him winning that combat because he charged rangs. I did a bunch of wounds to him, but he did 3 wounds to me. He issued a challenge with his Inquisitor. His Inquisitor has it where he swaps stat lines with you. That is an awesome, awesome item. So, and the more I think about it, the more I really like that item, especially if you're going up against ogres, if you're going up against even Dread Elves. I mean, come on. You go down to T3 versus T4, but you're getting the higher initiatives and everything else. So, to me, that's just an awesome little magic item. But again, they're Iron Breakers. They're Deep Watch, so they're meant to stick. And I accepted his challenge not with my unit champion, but with my Runesmith. So I wasn't losing that much in protecting my Runesmith. So let's see here. So over here, he just obliterated that unit of warriors that were there. So I did do a couple wounds in return, but nothing I needed to stick. So I ran, and I think he caught me. I ran so little, and then so did he. Or he may have killed me to a man. I forget which. So now it's Dwarves turn 5. I charge into the flank of the crossbowmen, and I recharge the ogre vets. I do a bombing run on the ogres up on the hill and try to shoot them. That's it. I got nothing else. I'm just trying to chaff them up. So over here, again, the king gets in to the side. There's Chucky off to the side there. Chucky has 1 wound on him. So he did try to wound him. He just couldn't hit him. And that's it, because he needed force to wound me. He needed force to hit me. And in which case, he did have 2 miles able to touch me, but it just wasn't going well. And that's it. Otherwise, and those ogre vets are like initiative 4 too. That's just a brutal unit. Combat wise, I finally kill what's left of the what's left over there of the what the heck were they? The flagellants. They did a number to me. I mean, those are 3 wound critters that I have, and he did 6, 7 wounds to me. In order to take me out. Over there, I just decimate what's left of the ogre vets, losing another 3 slayers, and there's Chucky kind of floating out in the wind. My miners, I forgot about my miners the entire game, and finally, like, oh my god, my miners! That would have I would have been able to go after war machines. I would have gone war machine hunting. Would have taken out, going after that silly cart that gives you distracting. So they finally come on board, and I believe I shoot the cannon to death. And also, my cannon did put a 2 wounds onto his chariot there, the one that grants distracting. My king easily eats the crossbowman to a man, so now it's their turn 5. So this thing broke from combat. It's amongst my dead. It broke from combat. I was about ready to move on my models because when I killed the flagellant, it failed its leadership test and just ran away. And it's leadership 9. Brett just had a bad roll. He charges in over here into the flank of the crossbowman. And that's how the board looks at this point in time. So again, the Deep Watch is there. He tried to charge Chucky, and it was a doable charge. He just failed. He rolled like 2 or 3. It was he rolled like I just rolled 3, 3, 1 and something like that, and he missed it by 1, so he only moved up about 3 inches. But now it's giving me the flank with my whole guardians, and Chucky's there right up front. Over there, I finally kill his Inquisitor in that challenge and do a bunch more wounds. And meanwhile, I had so many buffs on that unit. That's what kept that unit alive. He killed 2 of my guys. It's like I had -1 to hit, -1 to wound. I had reroll armor saves. And it's like, gah! And so now it's Dwarves turn 6. So finally, my cannon does that thing, and I hate that thing. Dan hates my flame cannon. I hate that. So that thing gets obliterated via another cannon shot. He turns around and he eats my. Let me go back and pick. All right, so I'm showing this here. So again, he still has his halberdiers. I charge in with my King's Guard into that unit of halberdiers with the king and all those hammers, and I kill the as I said, the cannon with the cannonball, the chariot with the cannonball shot. So at the end of the game, that unit of halberdiers actually gets killed to a man. Okay, and he moves up his Reichsguard and everything else, and he's like, I am not charging that in because that's just not worth it. And I also charge the flank with my miners. So, end of the day, it was Dwarven holds victory. That's just what happened. And I want to go back to, so, one more pick. So, over here in the middle of the board, you see that huge unit of ogres there in the middle. I charge in with Chucky. I charge in with the bears in the flank. And he was originally going to I issue a challenge with Chucky, and he was going to initially accept it with his generals, going, I'll survive, I'll be able to take that. And then he goes, oh wait, you're initiative, I'm initiative 5 or 6. I'm like, I'm initiative 8. And he goes, oh crap, and you have how many attacks? And you have hatred against me? And there's no way my general's going to survive that. No. Okay, you're going to get fed a unit champion instead. So I turn around, king's in the side, hitting. I just obliterate that unit there. So, and these slayers all the way in the back obliterate the unit of cannoneers as well. So sorry for not having those picks and just having to go back. So going back to the results, is the MVPs of this game. To me, the Demon Seeker, who is now dubbed Chucky from now on, turnaround, he really is the player because he almost single-handedly took out the entire army of ogres. And he is a glass cannon. Brett and I played another game, which I'll put that report up soon, where it's just one-on-one, and I purposely did not take artillery because, that's one of my opponent's complaints is my artillery. So I had Chucky instead, and he's like, "Oh my god, that's just rude. It's just broken." I'm like, you have the ways to kill him. This is what you need to do. You just got to do it. So he is nasty. Don't get me wrong. He is completely nasty. He's a little dwarven Cuisinart. So hence he gets my MVP. Empire's Hostile, those Imperial Guard turn around and the cannon. It was a toss up between the two. The Imperial Guard came in, killed, to me, outperformed and killed so many of my warriors. I was not going to have a chance in that combat after that. Great job to my opponent. And the Mammoth Hunter for the Ogre Cons. And the cannon, by the way, just killing my own artillery bit by bit. And the Ogre Con turn around and the Mammoth Hunter because it was the only thing left on the board for the Ogre Cons. So that's it. Please feel free to post any questions or comments. And until next time, see you then.